Hello everybody and welcome back to Starcraft 2 Heart of the Swarm. We've actually just got second place. Actually we had second place for about a month now. I think we've had second place. But we finally got the time I wanted, which means it's time for a commentary and obviously time to upload a video. So first of all I just say that I'm basically doing this in one take, this commentary here, so it might not be great. Basically my editing software deleted itself from my PC and I can't really get another one, but yeah, it's yeah, sorry about the scuffed commentary. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about here and I'm actually quite excited to finally be able to talk about this. I actually got this run nearly 2 weeks ago. I think it's 13 days ago I got this run. I just have been working non-stop and haven't been able to do a commentary on it yet, which means I haven't uploaded the video because, you know, I wanted to get this commentary done for it first. But yeah, mission 1 here. I guess we get straight into it. Essentially, yeah, you're just farming up minerals. Main thing here is you want to get 300 minerals quickly, and there is a tiny bit of time save that I don't get on the world record. We'll talk about all these different times from different runners in a moment. But essentially there's this thing in the Heart of the Swarm where if you move, it's kind of complicated, you move your what is it, the drones, you click on the floor and then you click on the base and then floor to minerals, and basically that will make them go faster, and that will obviously get those minerals up a bit faster, that objective there. But from what I've tested, it only saves about 3 seconds, maybe 4 seconds, and it's like pretty tricky to do. I mean, if you mess it up once, it basically loses all your time. So I don't go for that, and yeah, I'm honestly fine with it. It's no point in learning it if it don't saves very little time. But yeah, obviously get the spawning down quickly, spawning ball down quickly. It's a very simple tutorial thing, not too much to talk about here. Again, these first couple of missions I don't do it exactly precisely. I don't really like running sort of the easier, you know, missions to perfection. That's not really my thing. I prefer to, you know, get good at the tough missions. But yeah, obviously, if you want to see close to perfection, obviously go and look at Bloody's run, world record runner. One person I'll just never be able to beat in this game. He's just way too good at this game. I think this has ended up being about 4.5 minutes slower than his time. And bear in mind, my sum of best is about 2.5-3 minutes slower than his times in world record. I have no idea how to do it, but you can see here. Another thing, if you're, so I'm going to try and do this commentary as if you're trying to maybe learn this run. You know, obviously people at different skill levels. If you want to, you can go for that bonus objective right at the bottom there, and that'll get you more Zerglings for later on. You do tend to run very low on Zerglings in this, and you can see we're just splitting up here. So we take all these things down at the same time. We want the drones already ahead, ideally, slightly ahead there. And we got through that door pretty quickly, actually, looking at the time. Ideally, your drones would be the ones taking most of the damage here, but unfortunately our Zerglings are actually taking quite a beating. And you can see we're splitting off our drones so that these sentry bots sort of get distracted. I unfortunately didn't really work too well here, which is what's going to cost us a couple of seconds. They do eventually run away, but they do a lot of damage to our Zerglings. I think that was what, a 520, so yeah, pretty average. Best I've got there is, you know, like a 516. And yeah, pretty standard mission 1 though. Mission 2, again, another pretty slow one. Again, this one's going to give me a lot of time to talk about other runners, and sort of different strategies there, and different times have ended up happening, and yeah, not all the changes over the last few years, because of course, a lot of people watching might know sort of the time when Grant and Probe were running against each other. And obviously you might know of the strategies back then, but there's been quite a few improvements, mainly from obviously Bloody coming up with all these new strategies, saving a bunch of time, as well as just better execution. And you can see here, actually, I've got something that's important in this campaign, especially, is setting up rapid fire for your abilities. I think Probe has a good video on how to set up rapid fire for multiple different abilities and things. Yeah, check that out because it's actually quite important for spamming spells on Kerrigan in particular. But you can see here, essentially, basically, yeah, just running Kerrigan through the mission as quickly as possible. You can actually get the Zerglings through that door there. And then what we're going to do here is actually push a Marine close to this door, so that the Zerglings sort of don't run around attacking other things. They'll go straight onto this Marine, and it bunches them up for the crossing grip. But yeah, so again, another slightly slow one compared to Bloody, but I'm not too worried again about these early missions. So unfortunately, something you may notice if you checked out speedrun.com and if you've tried to watch Grant's run is that for some reason all of his runs are unlisted, or they're private videos, which means you can't watch them. I'm not even sure if you're supposed to be able to do that. If you got a run on the board, I think it's supposed to say, you know, watchable, but yeah, for some reason he's privated all of his videos, which means the only thing you have for Grant, which obviously was the previous second place until like when I started running, he was previous second place by quite a bit, but he was, you know, he was still a top runner, and you can't really learn from him because you've only got his main video, which obviously cuts out a lot of the mission. So yeah, basically a lot of the things the improvements I'll be talking about will be compared to Probe's run over, you know, Grant's in this commentary here, because well, I don't really know what Grant did too well. And obviously his video is based off of his slower run. He's improved it by about a minute and a half on the board there, and I'm not sure what the improvements were at all. So yeah, again, that Ultralisk section can be quite tricky. This one as well. I think I come. Oh no, I don't. No, I know on some of my runs I come very close to dying on this bit. So honestly, that section there, and probably this one as well, is kind of RNG on if you'll survive or not, and you know, because the Ultralisk can get an extra hit on you, and you can sort of die to Zerglings or the Marines if you're too slow. That section that we just did, you have to kill the Terran forces, and that's what activates the console sooner. And this section, I think Bloody actually goes for the gas defense, but I go for the other one. I think the gas defense might be more consistent, but then you have to snipe like a tank, I think. And yeah, you can again die to this. That was very close on both of my characters there. Yeah, another thing that could lose you that mission is just Raynor, obviously, for some reason, just sticking behind, attacking things for too long, or getting stuck in something, and he'll just die, and it's obviously just basically a dead run at that point. But yeah, okay, so we've got 3 minutes here. This is the first sort of nothing we can do. We're just waiting for this this time defense area. At about 8 minutes, obviously, we come out of this. But yeah, so what we're going to talk about. Okay, so main missions. Okay, so if you compare this run to my previous run, it's only about 2.5 minutes faster. I think it's about 2.5 minutes faster, but the improvements are very significant, and this is what I'm talking about. If you compare it, obviously, again, my run to Bloody's, I'm about 4.5 minutes faster, but the skill and the strategy difference is just incredible. So yeah, it's not so much about time. It's really at this point, it's really every second sort of matters, and the strategy is quite significantly better, especially on missions like mission 3 that's coming up. Rendezvous, I have made some pretty big improvements there. I used to be getting sort of low 7s, not really knowing how to get sub 7, but my PB for that one now is a 627, which is actually pretty solid, and I do have a strategy for that, so I'm looking forward to talking about that one, because it is a very one of the more difficult missions of this whole campaign. Yeah, and yeah, really not much to talk about in this mission though. It's kind of just yeah, we're just sort of waiting. So what else have we got? Yeah, so Probes, if you compare, again, because I have to compare it to Probes run, not Grant's. If you compare this to Probes run, there are several missions where I've saved over a minute, obviously from better strategies, and a lot of it again is also better execution. and as I've said, I want to be doing this commentary as if you're maybe trying to learn the run, or you're just trying to understand the strategies, and obviously trying to give you some tips for, you know, what, no matter what level you're at, you could still sort of perform the strategies to the best of your ability, essentially. So that's sort of what this commentary is about. And obviously, I should mention there is a no commentary version in the description, just the raw footage. So if you're interested in not listening to me ramble for nearly 2 hours, then you can go ahead and watch that. I should have mentioned that at the start of the video, but I forgot. But yeah, anyway, I appreciate if you're watching, and I hope I can be a little bit helpful here. There is another runner, actually, I should mention as well, who isn't actually on the board. Was it Sergeant Rufus? He's been running this game a lot, pretty much a lot more than me, actually. And I think he's actually 3rd place. I think he does actually have a 3rd place time, although he's just not uploaded the time yet. So yeah, that's obviously going to be helpful to help him out, and I recommend you checking out his streams, because he's streaming this game all the time, and he might be able to help you as well if you're interested in learning this game. So this Archangel fight, essentially you're able to get 2 Connect Glass and 2 obviously the Crushing Grip every round. There are 3 sort of different phases to this, but you notice on that second phase though, I held off my Connect Blast for as long as possible, and that's deliberate because essentially in the first 2 rounds you're basically guaranteed to have a bunch of Marines helping you, which means you want to be on those phases of the fight for as long as possible. However, in the 3rd phase, generally you'll have less or no Marines actually fighting this guy. So you see he comes down and they're just not even attacking, they're just standing there. Which is why you want to hold off the Connect Blast for as long as possible, so that he'll fly away later on, and then you'll only need 1 Connect Blast round to actually take him out there, and it just saves, you know, a few seconds there. That's basically the Archangel fight. That's how I do it anyway. What was it, the 10:27? That's not too bad. Only 9 seconds slower than Bloody, so. But yeah, Rendezvous. So we're getting into the proper run here.
I hear you.
So again, immediately we're sending Kerrigan down to get that bonus objective. We're droning up.
Okay.
So what you actually want here is that after you've constructed your 2nd hatchery and spawning pool, you want to have 15 drones ideally. You know, you can maybe go up to another 1 or 2. It's not a big deal, but ideally 15 drones is what you want to be on. That seems to be what works for me. Obviously, if you're doing maybe the run a bit slower, you could go higher. But yeah, you generally want about that many, because that's that gives you a good amount of Zergling production. And if you don't know, this mission is not a defense mission. If you might expect it to be a just a hold out mission, but it's not. You actually can call in the reinforcements way earlier and actually end the mission if you destroy all the enemy units and buildings, essentially. I think it's... Is it all of them? Oh no, sorry, there is a few Marines. You'll see later on, there's a few Marines that we don't need to kill, but... yeah, so you can see we've got the hatcheries coming up soon. We've already got the second hatchery up. And you can see I'm destroying these buildings here with the Zerglings, and that's actually obviously producing these extra units. I wait a moment for the units to catch up, so my Zerglings take less damage. And I can sort of clear this all out, obviously using Connect Blasts on these bunkers. And I'm creating a queen here. You have enough S-beam gas to create a queen. It's not actually worth it to farm gas, but you can. A queens are very strong in this campaign, so you do want to get for that extra queen up. And you can see I sniped the bunker to call in these units. I take out the Hellbat, Firebat, whatever it's called, because they do a lot of damage to Zerglings. Something very important though is that I build all of my Zerglings before the reinforcements coming from that 2nd bonus objective, because obviously you get supply capped, so you want to call them in just before. That's how I do it, just so that, I mean, you could build like 1 egg at a time when you have the minerals for it, but I prefer building rounds of Zerglings, so that there's less to macro, because you don't have F2, you don't have controllable units on this mission until right at the end. It's actually locked off from you for some reason. It's quite annoying, and it's actually a very good mission for F2. So it makes things just a lot easier to control if you're building in Zerglings in groups. And you can see we're splitting up Zerglings, so we get equal damage on the buildings, obviously burn them down. going ahead with Kerrigan and the Queens here to take out the a lot of these units before the Zerglings come in, and another round of Zerglings coming in here, and obviously the third Queen definitely helping keeping Kerrigan healthy. Obviously she was almost dead a minute ago. I did miss that Viking to the right. I didn't realise it came up that way, so I lose a few Zerglings to that. But you can see it doesn't look too difficult, to be honest, but this, yeah, it is quite challenging. It took a while for me to learn sort of all the strategy for this mission in particular. And not terrible Zergs around there. Yeah, this ended up being a good time. So I believe in this area, like, you know, 438 or something. That's pretty good. Definitely going to be looking for a sub 7 time here. I wouldn't accept anything like worse than like a 650 at this point. Obviously, if you're trying to learn this run, this mission is going to be like quite a bit slower. You know, I think Grant's and Probe's times were like sort of mid 730, so yeah, mid 7-ish area. So it's quite tricky. And yeah, every extra second is just more and more difficult. That's just how it works. In this sort of in this game, every second is just more and more difficult to actually get. And you can see, the last area can be a bit tricky to break into if you don't have enough Zerglings, but we had a good amount there. And again, these are the last buildings here. There are a few Marines right up against this bridge that we don't have to kill in order for the cutscene to play. So you can see that's played, the bridge is open, we can just go straight through these guys, and all we have to do now is destroy the cannon. We're about to get F2 here, which is obviously nice. And essentially, yeah, you want to basically have a lot of Zergling here so that Kerrigan is surviving, not taking any damage. You want to make sure that Thor to the right doesn't attack you, but yeah, everything went fine there. Obviously 2 kinetic blasts. Hopefully the second one will take the drill down, or throw the cannon down, and a 640 tang. That's pretty good. Obviously not my best, but I'm pretty happy with how that mission went for a full run. Yeah, and obviously if you're a better player than me, you'll be able to get a better time there. It's a very, you know, sort of skill-based mission, but it is, I can't imagine it would take a while to learn that, because it took me you know, like a month and a half, 2 months to actually get that mission down to a decent enough time. Yeah, so in between missions, every run I've had so far, I've actually had to restart. You can see the other couple I've done on speedrun.com. I've had a couple of resets to missing upgrades and such. Obviously here, all you need is the Zergling speed. We go speed here for the whole game. Zerglings are obviously very useful in a lot of these missions, but you never go for anything else other than speed. There's areas where you think, oh, maybe attack speed or what's the other one? Extra health might be useful, but then it's just like, well, you can reinforce with Zerglings and get them into the battle sooner. It's just better. Very specific setup there. Ideally, you'd have 4 banelings for that. Try and copy what I did there. There's a lot of small details here. Try and just sort of slow the video down if you're trying to learn it and sort of figure out what I'm doing. For that section there, you just F2, you're F2ing everything basically, and trying to save up Zerglings. Obviously, hopefully here you'd have enough banelings to actually take out that base. Again, you don't need to be doing this quickly. This mission is quite tricky, honestly. Yeah, especially at the start, it's quite difficult to keep Kerrigan alive. You don't need to be doing, you know, this fast. Just sort of slow it down and make sure you have enough banelings. And yeah, obviously copy that route though. It saves a lot of time compared to, you know, Probe or Grant. I think that over a minute of time saved, mainly from this early section, where yeah, the egg route is faster. It's more difficult generally, but I'd honestly say that because there's a lot more sort of macroing going on in the Probe and Grant strategy of how you collect the eggs. So and as yeah, you can see, okay, make a mistake here. I was like, what have I done here? I was actually supposed to put, yeah, putting the question mark. I'm not taking this run that seriously at this point. We're which is why I'm typing. I shouldn't be typing because it's slowing me down. But I've had several weeks of making silly mistakes like this, so I was just kind of expecting not to have a run going really. But I kept going because it might be a PB. I even mess up getting that base there. Sorry, yeah, just a lot to talk about in these missions, and they go so quickly, and there's so many details. I built some extra banelings before I entered this base. It's kind of bad basically. This mission didn't go well. The beginning was pretty good, but this whole base clearing section was just quite bad. Ideally I'd be leaving this like a 340. It doesn't end up being that bad though at the time. It's just, yeah, borrowing those banelings was awful. And yeah, make sure obviously, so the goal here essentially is to get to 50 Kerrigan levels by, I think, Infested. I think that's the mission you need it on. Obviously there'll be upgrades and things that you need along the way, but you'll generally get them naturally if you copy a specific Kerrigan level route. And obviously we're going for extra baneling damage. We don't have that the entire run, but for most of it it'll be 100% extra baneling damage from the mutation. Yeah, kind of a mediocre mission 4 there. I know I was talking about something else, and it's just the missions are going so quickly that I can't even keep up with everything. Yeah, that is a tricky one. I don't like the mission because I was never able to get actually good at it and consistent at it. Having the Infested being in certain locations every time, like it's complete RNG where all the Infested and all the Zerglings spawn, so that messes you up as well. But anyway, this mission, another pretty tricky one, though it can be consistent if you're good at it, which is, you know, that's something. There's not really any RNG. And you can see you're getting creep tumors down pretty much as fast as possible. Obviously the goal here is to upgrade these Scourge nests and kill the Gorgons. And there is a faster way to do this than just spreading creep. We're actually going to be using a drone. We build hatcheries next to these things, and then with the creep that spawns from that, you obviously cancel the hatchery and then use a queen to build a creep tumor right next to them. And that just makes this a lot faster. So from after the second one there, we're just captured. We're going in with our our drone, and you can see Bloody. I think in Bloody's run he actually goes for 2 hatcheries here. I think this is actually common for most people, but I only go for 1 because we'll be spamming queens here. I go for 3 extra Zerglings because I'm only going 1 hatchery. But we're spamming queens here because they're very good. Obviously they keep Kerrigan alive, which is the main thing in this mission, and queens are generally pretty strong against these most of the units in this mission. You definitely want to be sniping these Thors with Connect Blast because they're the only way they go down really. And what else? Yeah, basically, so the route I go with 3 drones at the beginning, then I build a queen immediately, and that attack wave to the right there, by the way, is it's an attack wave that'll come in at different times. So I'm doing this fairly fast at the moment, based on that. But yeah, and I build 2 overlords as well. 2 overlords near the beginning, and that's basically just all the overlords. I don't need to worry about it anymore. That's sort of the setup there. I do make sure I snipe at least one of these ghosts. They can snipe your queens, and that's quite annoying. Again, it is tempting to snipe the siege tank here, but I definitely think it's better to snipe the Thor because otherwise it just won't die. And your queen should keep everything alive. You can see we're going in with the drone again there. I want to make sure we have a queen over there. And I've actually messed up here by building a queen too quickly, and now I don't have any minerals for this base, or for this hatchery there. So going a little bit slow in that bit. I think this ended up generally being a kind of a mediocre char for me. Not the best times, although not the worst times either. Best way that's the hardest attack wave there to clear in the game. You want to go for the bunker first and make sure you snipe it with Connect Blast. They clear this out pretty quickly. Obviously, as long as you've got units on normal difficulty, they will target your attack units over your drone. Just make sure you've got units around. And at this point, we're basically just rushing to the final Gorgon. And kind of risky what I do there is I go straight in with the drone and build the base before the drone gets sniped. Wouldn't recommend that if you're learning this game. But yeah, there's the final Scourge Nest, and hopefully it starts shooting before this dialogue plays. Sometimes it doesn't, and I'm not sure why. I think it's a specific timing that you have to do, where you wait a little bit after the 6th Scourge Nest is activated, and then you get the final creature at a certain time. But anyway, yeah. I don't even remember what that time was, to be honest. I didn't see it. But I think it was like a 547 or something, which is kind of mediocre for me, but I'm not too worried about it. Anyway, yeah, so kind of a couple of mediocre char missions, but we're going on to mission 6 here. This is definitely a deal breaker. There's been a significant improvement here over Probe and ZPR. So what Bloody's actually came up with is a way to destroy the main objective in the invasion, in this initial invasion area, which wasn't possible or known to be possible before Bloody did it. And you can see specifically we take out the siege tank and then we start attacking the gate. This is how I do it. You want to try and make sure you don't pull too many units when you're attacking that gate. And obviously we're only going in with Zerglings and Kerrigan. We snipe the extra tank. Ideally you want to take out the Marauders and the Hellbats pretty quickly because they do a lot of damage, and they can slow down Kerrigan as well with the concussive shell from Marauders. And a second round of Zerglings and Banes come in. We pull the extra Zerglings to help us here. Make sure Kerrigan doesn't get too low, while also helping take these things out. And there are two more what are they, Hellbat? Again, I don't really know the Hellbats, whatever they're called. Hellions, maybe? What are they called? I don't know. But yeah, we can take 2 of those out, and that's basically all the clear we're going to need before we beeline it straight to the enemy objective. So when the 3rd round of units comes in, we F2, we pull everything, including the Banelings, and you can see I'm putting my Zerglings to the left-hand side while getting my Banelings in front, and I send Scott's Kerrigan in first. And you can see this is how I do it. I get the Zerglings sort of piled up on that ramp, and then I sort of get the Zerglings attacking things so they don't the enemy don't attack the Banelings. That's kind of important there. Clearing out these ghosts while getting some damage at the gate. You can see we're going straight through, and ideally attack move Zerglings there, and then Banelings straight on the objective, connect blast it. That is pretty tough. It did take a while for me to learn that. Generally, yeah, you basically you don't have any extra time. By like 2:45, the thing's over, and you obviously get put back to base as the invasion is over. So you don't have any extra time there, and that's why if you're just learning this game, that is pretty difficult to do. But again, you do lose about a minute and a half if you don't do the invasion kill. So it's just sort of what you're able to do essentially. If not, you can obviously you respawn with Kerrigan, a few aberrations, and you can just go straight to the objective. But yeah, that's kind of that's a tough one. But as long as I get that, I don't really care what the time is. As long as I get the early kill, then that's a good time for me. And another pretty tricky mission, a Zergling focused mission here. This is another pretty big improvement compared to my previous run. It's going to be a sub 5 time here, so I've actually changed the strategy of killing the Quilgor by a bit, and now it's a lot closer to what Bloody's run would look like. So you can see here, that's that bottom Quilgor that we just killed there. Obviously we got the two bottom left. We pull that Quilgor up because there is an attack wave that comes in when you try and collect that biomass there. And if you pull the Quilgor up, they just sort of get confused and they go back once there's nothing there. And you can see again these 2 closest Quilgor, there's nothing that comes for them, so you can just sort of take them, I believe. And you can so my setup here is I think I build 4 drones at the beginning, and I just spam Zerglings. That's literally it. It is easier if you maybe build an extra couple of meters or something, but I don't go for that. Not really necessary for me. You can also see I've got certain drones on hotkeys. So I've sent in 2 drones here for these top 2 Quilgor, and this is the improved strategy as you go. Instead of pulling the 2 closer ones, because there are 4 in this area, so instead of pulling the 2 closer Quilgor out and then capture them and then going to the back 2 Quilgor, I go top left, top right, bottom left here, if that makes sense. So I'm getting the further away ones before I'm getting the last closer one, if that makes sense. So obviously I'll be able to update the action quicker. And again, I know when all the attack waves come in, pay attention to them. The attack waves come in once you start farming the Quilgor, generally. So just pay attention to when they come in and when I activate Quilgor if you're trying to learn this strategy here. And you see I've got a race back to this to defend this. On 38 is when the enemy comes in on that bottom right Quilgor there. And there's the attack wave there. And I'm leaving behind my 4 Mutalisks to defend the attack wave for that bottom left Quilgor right there. And obviously we got... I don't think I built an Overlord. Yeah, I don't think I built an Overlord in this mission. I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure you start with 34 supply, but yeah, just spamming Zerglings. And we do have enough here for the final section. Something you got to make sure you do is build a Baneling Nest at some point. You don't start with it on this level, so it's quite important that you remember. I built it later on. I used to build it really early, so I didn't forget about it. And then we can go for that second Kerrigan level there. We skipped the 3rd one in this mission because it's too far away. Ideally, Kerrigan wouldn't die after getting that level, but you do definitely want to get it. And you can see, yeah, we want to build Banelings up right there. I'm just looking at it, I can eyeball it, and I know I have enough Banelings here to take this guy out without Kerrigan, but generally you want Kerrigan alive to connect Blast as well. Yeah, I think that would have been enough Banes, just about. But yeah, that ends up being a nice time, a 451. Pretty happy with that, how that mission went. Again, Bloody's got something ridiculous, like a 409 now. Something that's pretty cool is that Bloody's been coming back to the game and improving a lot of his PBs for the campaign runs. And he saved like an extra minute or so on, maybe a minute and a half on his full game world record now, which is just ridiculous because that is already so refined. And like you could honestly count the amount of seconds that he'd actually be able to save. It really wasn't a lot, but he's managed to find, you know, improved strategies and made everything better. But yeah, we're coming up to the first defense mission here, which means there's not going to be a lot to talk about for a little while here. Yeah, there's essentially this is 25 minutes of just waiting around. So something I should mention here is that if you turn off, you see how Zervan there isn't moving. If you turn off the animations that play, you'll end up getting a 2550 on this mission. If you don't, you'll get a 2551 essentially. I don't know why it works like that, but it does. So that's why you want to turn off those animations there, just to save an extra second. Oh god, yeah, just I've done a lot of talking so far, haven't I? Yeah, I'm hoping this commentary is being you know, somewhat helpful. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do here. Maybe I'll keep going. I recommend you skip until the end of the mission. Only thing you have to make sure you do here is get the bonus objective, because that's an extra Kerrigan level. But yeah, that's basically it. You can just go ahead and skip. Yeah, there's not much to talk about here. I may or may not just mute and walk away. I think that's what I might do because I'm not going to have anything to talk about. But yeah. Again, thank you for watching. I hope this has been at least somewhat helpful so that far. There's definitely not been able to talk about as much as I wanted to because these missions just go so fast. But yeah, I'm hoping this is somewhat useful. Again, we've already saved like a good, like, what, that 3 minutes or something on probe and grants times. Just improved strategies, improved execution. And those early missions were quite difficult. They were quite difficult. Generally, it gets a little, well, I'd say the mid game maybe is a bit easier, but then again in the late game it's gets quite tricky again. But yeah, anyway, I'll go ahead and mute.
another pack of primal Zerg gathering across the basin.
Hear me, broken Zerg. You have killed Brock, but his pack survives. I claim their territory and their essence.
The Primal Zerg factions have engaged each other.
Let them kill each other. Our focus is protecting the Chrysalis.
I have not forgotten you, Broken Pack. Your leader sleeps. She will not wake. My pack will feast upon your essence.
Yadra's pack is preparing to attack our hive cluster. Show these primals the fury of the swarm. We require more minerals. We require more minerals.
Broodmother Zagara have made important discovery. Primal essence collecting within pool. Can use spawn many locusts to defend hive cluster from primal attacks.
These primals are relentless. Spawn the locusts now. Kill them all. We require more mutation. Complete. Our forces are under attack. We require more minerals. Our forces are under attack. We require more minerals. Yadra has sent a force of primal flyers to attack the Chrysalis. The hive cluster is under attack. Our forces are under attack. Spawn more overlords. A massive primal.
Tyrannosaur, savage, extreme physical prowess, essence useful, must acquire.
No simple matter. To reach it, we must cross the battle between Brack and Yagdra's packs.
Tyrannosaur sample acquired. Will research primal essences further.
Both packs are moving against us. Prepare for a pincer attack. Our forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack. Our Queen's metamorphosis is halfway complete. Maintain our defense. We require more Vespine gas. Our forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack. Complete. Spawn more overlords. Our forces are under attack.
We should morph units that can attack flying units. Morphing mutalisks or queens will allow us to destroy the enemy's flyers.
Unacceptable command. We are at maximum supply. Our forces
The primal Zerg are destroying the rocks near the chrysalis.
gates opens. Our queen is close to waking. Forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack. Mutation complete.
My pack is strong. We claim essence. We devour. The broken Zerg remain. Collect their essence. Kill.
Yandra's forces are gathering. They are converging upon the hive cluster. Defend the Chrysalis. The swarm will prevail. Our forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack.
Okay, so we're back here. Yeah, mission's just about to end here. Obviously, and we get the 2550 just because we the 2D cinematic off. There we go. And yeah, heading into Supreme here, which is actually it's an interesting mission. Very basically, essentially, it's a big boss fight. Nothing we can do with Kerrigan levels or anything; they're already set. And there's none of the units to use, so you just go straight into it. And yeah, basically a lot of this is RNG.
What is it this time?
The significant improvements come from a couple of skips, sort of jump skips. You'll see those in a moment. Again, rapid fire quite useful for some of this as well. But yeah, obviously we're going to get Carrigan level there. There are later on, especially there are certain Carrigan levels that are more difficult to get, and on this mission in particular, there's sort of two. There's one right where Carrigan is now. If you go north, obviously there's one up there, and this is the first jump skip, so you go there. It saves only a couple of seconds, but it's still quite useful there. And there's also a very easy, sort of less than 10 seconds lost Carrigan level just after this fight here. And these are the ones that you would get if you were worried about not getting later on ones, or if you miss one or two prior to this. So obviously there is a bit of leeway in the Carrigan, where you get the Carrigan levels from. So this fight essentially just keep spamming your jump because it does a lot of damage. And a big tip here is that you can see where the boss is going to spawn if you look at the map. You'll know where it's going to come out next. If you're lucky, you get it in 3 cycles, but to be honest, I'm not sure what controls when it burrows. It seems kind of random, and generally you always get that in 4 cycles. Either way, that wasn't a terrible fight. And you'll notice here we've borrowed all of our other units. They will die if you don't, because all those units that are chasing us now on the map, they'll go straight for your units and kill them, and you don't want that because the boss fight. You want them alive for the boss fight just here, and they don't respawn otherwise for some reason. Yeah, there we go. So we got all our units. Obviously, make sure you unburrow them just before you come to this boss fight here. And so what I do is I make sure I kite the Hydralisk out of the way of this attack. The roaches will survive it. Hydralisks definitely won't. Obviously, making sure you use our Q. Trying to bait where he jumps. This was a good fight here actually, because he charges straight towards the exit and then he uses an attack instead of charging again. So Kerrigan is right there just to keep moving. And yeah, this level actually ended up being a really good time, as you'll see in a moment. Sort of making sure we have enough energy to get through this without being stuck on units. Making sure you use your dashes to stop being stuck on units is a big part of this level here. So another dash there, another dash, and then this is the major jump skip. It's gonna, I forget what it says, maybe like 15, maybe 20 seconds. You just jump up that gap. Try and take note of where I'm jumping. And you can see here, yeah, best way to do this fight I found is the same way Bloody does it, of course. He dashes twice to clear most of those banelings, and then ideally this guy will run towards your units instead of away, but either way this ended up being a pretty solid time. Keeping your units alive for that fight there is actually quite important, because they do die easily to those banes, and they do a lot of DPS. So yeah, this is the major RNG fight here though, and it ends up being, okay, so that's quite bad. I tried to kite the Hydralisk. Essentially you want to be keeping your Hydralisk alive here, because I've already lost one. Because they die in 2 hits, these tentacles. Everything else has, I think it's 4 hits for a roach. Carrying's getting a bit low here. So pretty bad kiting, honestly. I didn't actually play this fight too well, but that is probably the best RNG you can get in that fight. Not only did I not get any unit spawns, which is the bad RNG, but I also got like really low amount of hits from his tentacle things, whatever they are. And yeah, that just ended up being like the best fight I've ever had in Zervan. And I think, what was his time? Like a 5:05, I think? Only 5 seconds slower than Bloody. Obviously that Bloody got worse RNG than me, but that might be the closest time I get to world record. Just because the RNG was so good that, yeah, really happy with how the mission went. And yeah, that's mission, what are we on now? Is that mission 9 that we've just done? Yeah, that's actually already mission 9. Yeah, so we're going on to Cold Ear here. I haven't mentioned it, the reason we go Char essentially, or you're about to see why we go Char first. Although Char is harder, and you do lose time obviously by not having Kerrigan there, you just save more time on these generally easier missions in Cold Ear than you do on Char with Queen of Blades Kerrigan. And yeah, so way I do this, you see I hit there, I jumped. I make sure to not get a roach dialogue. There are a couple of dialogue skips that we can do here, that's one of them. You just want to make sure you don't go too close to that roach. I leave all my Zerglings behind. I make sure my other roach isn't being attacked by the Ursidon. He tends to just move straight into the Ursidon, so you got to cut him back. But yeah, you can see Carrigan's over here. So I don't actually know if I change anything out. Actually, yeah, I would have had to. So yeah, we're going Banelings, the jump and the leap, the jump and the dash are staying the same. But we're going Banes here, obviously, with the plus 100% attack on the mutation. And you can see there, that was the skip. That's pretty tough to pull off. I wasn't gonna definitely get it in a run. I was kind of hoping I'd get it, but I did end up getting it. Best time you can end this first section is a 1:34. I got a 1:36, so just slightly slow on the on just getting to that area. Yeah, so that skip is quite hard. That dialogue, it saves 7 seconds. And try and pay attention to where Carrigan is jumping. He's essentially want to avoid a dialogue trigger. But yeah, so yeah, this section. I honestly, if you're a new player and you're trying to learn this run, definitely go for the probe/grunts route of doing this. It's way easier. I didn't realise this barely saved any time until I'd already learnt this run properly. I probably would have just went with the probe time because it's close. You'll still be able to get like a sub 4 minute time by going with the probes route. And that section there is just a lot more difficult. You have to line up the bonus objective to die as Carrigan is dashing, as Carrigan is sort of going, so that she doesn't die. And even then, like if you mess up your dashes, Carrigan just dies to that. And you can see we have both bonus objectives, which Probe also gets. It isn't like you lose a bonus objective by going for the other strategy. You don't. And the other thing here, and yeah, you can see that we want to make sure these spires go down at the same time because we skip another dialogue at the end here. If they die within a few seconds of each other, you won't get the dialogue and it'll just end the mission. 3:35, actually a nice time there. Pretty nice. Yeah, so pretty tricky mission again. I recommend just learning the sort of the probe strategy ways of doing it. I think it's just way easier and saves almost the same time. So what we do? We unlock roaches in that mission. Make sure you get the tunneling roach upgrade. I think in my previous run actually, or maybe it was my first run that I uploaded, I completely forgot the roach upgrade and I just was trying to burrow and was like, why isn't it working? And yeah, I had to restart the mission. But yeah, so we're spawning banelings immediately. That's important. This mission has a lot about getting these banelings off cooldown as quickly as you can, which is why we start with that. What Bloody does is he actually uses the right hand overlord, and that's actually closer to this ledge. It gets him there faster. But the overlord ends up taking a lot more damage from all the things that he approaches. So I just use the left overlord. It doesn't lose too much time. And you'll notice that the second bonus objective goes down there, and it heals me up, which isn't technically, well, it may be necessary, depending on how you do that section. But yeah, I get here fast enough to actually destroy the shuttle here with Carrigan. You can obviously do this with Hydralis if you're too slow, and you want to make sure, obviously, again, very important there that you use banelings as soon as they're up to attack that shuttle bay. And we do get it. Again, that's a very clutch. It's very close. Unfortunately, we get a bit unlucky with our banelings. They don't do us too much damage. I think we lose one before it hits the shuttle, and that slows us back down by a few seconds to get into this second shuttle. So we spawn the banelings, and it takes like one hit with all the banelings, one hit with Carrigan and all the banelings to take out a stasis chamber. Sorry, not stasis chamber, the shuttle bay. Yeah, 1:59. That's, again, it loses like a few seconds, but it's still a solid time. If you go in for Bloody's route, obviously with the Overlord, it's a lot riskier. You also have to go straight in with Carrigan. You wouldn't be able to attack the bonus objective to the left-hand side with Carrigan, and normally the Banes don't do that, so you'd have to build Zerglings to support them. It's a whole thing. Also, that was actually a bonus objective that Pro and Grant hadn't figured out yet. The one with the roaches to the right. They hadn't figured out how to do the tunneling claws and getting straight over and getting that. And so that's basically just an extra level that we don't need to get anywhere else. I'm assuming Grant didn't do that in his later on, but obviously I wouldn't even know. So yeah, his video's private, so can't really check that out. But yeah, so that's an extra bonus level there that we wouldn't have to get sort of. I think they normally got it in like the second char mission. So yeah, that's a slow one though. If you miss a bonus objective, definitely better to get him supreme than anywhere else. And yeah, so this what is this? Enemy Within. Quite an interesting one. This is actually one that I've improved quite significantly. Again, this is the third mission I'd say I've added like a big like 30-second plus improvement on, and that's really just been not so much this early section. This early section is pretty much set. I'll lose about a second there on bloody, but that's not a big deal. The second sort of section before the, it's hard to explain. The second section I've sort of figured out how to not lose any time on. There's basically a ton of dialogue that's coming up that if you're fast enough, you can get the sort of minimum amount of time lost. So what I do here is I go straight in with the Zerglings. I kill the what is it, I forget what they're called. You know what they are. Then I build banelings, and I go straight in. You want to make sure you've been killing all these units. You have to kill all the Protoss in this mission. If you miss some, you have to come all the way back to kill them. So definitely make sure you get all these units here. And you can see I'm going straight in and get the banelings to destroy the gate, the door, force field thing. And again, we're going second round of Zerglings. We're going straight in with banelings. And if you're fast enough, again, you will be able to get the minimum amount of dialogue. I'm not too sure what dialogues you skip. I can never figure it out, but I know what time you're supposed to get. So yeah, Queen goes straight into that destroy that thing. And another thing here, I think Barr mentioned in his run, you want to have banelings ready there to stop enemy units from force fielding that door and stopping the Queen from getting in too quickly. And we want all of our units banelings except one Zergling. And you can see here, I think I ended 351. We obviously, with a perfect first section, that would be a 350, which is what Bloody gets. So we're on a very good pace so far. And you can see there are two sort of main sections here, as our Queen is leveling up. There are two main sections. We want to run our Zergling into the second section to start activating these stasis pods as quickly as possible. Obviously, the Zerglings have the extra speed to get there faster. And obviously, we have to kill all these units. Something I should have mentioned actually is that you want 96 Protoss remaining before this section of the game. That's how you know that you haven't missed anything. But yeah, so you want to activate all these as quickly as you can. And the Queen, I've got a set layout of all these biomass that I need to get so that I can get the final upgrade as quickly as possible. Obviously, we're killing the Ursadon immediately to get that biomass faster. And there is the final level of the Queen. And again, basically all you're doing is F2ing, controlling your Zerglings, building more banelings, and just keep doing that. That's generally how you beat this section as fast as possible. You just build banelings as fast as you can, and they just sort of kill everything. So this final area here, you can see you'll make sure you kill these escape pods, of course. That's a big deal. Something you can do is use this first round of banelings to destroy this area here, so you get up to the Immortal, you kill the Immortal and the pod and that, and then you build a second round of Zerglings, and that second round of banelings that you get from them, like right here, should be enough to kill the final area. That's generally how I do it. Make sure you get obviously the stasis pod. The banelings don't automatically target them unless you put them on building target mode, which I don't really do on this mission. Obviously that's really important in the first char mission, but unfortunately that was a really good time, but we lose a few seconds just not killing that Archon fast enough. If we sent like maybe one more baneling down there, that would have been like a 626 or something, which would be really nice, but still like a good like 30 seconds or so of time save in my previous run. I've figured out a mission quite well now, and we're going, so that's 12 missions done out of 20 obviously. So we're getting pretty close to the later stages of this game. We got a pretty cool mission coming up, so we don't get any upgrades because we're just using the Hyperion on this mission, of course. And there's been like Buddy has actually improved this mission quite a bit. I sort of figured out a new strategy potential strategy that I don't even use because it's too inconsistent, but he sort of improved upon it, and then he's got this time down quite a bit in the individual level ones. But the best way I'd recommend you do it is you go for 2 level ups on the Hyperion instead of 1. And in fact, I'll go into that in a moment, because this first section, essentially we're just jumping as many times as you can to get our fighters out. And then obviously we have the maximum amount of DPS. You have to kill everything in this first section here. So you can't be skipping any of these units. You've got to make sure they all go down. This ends up being a kind of sloppy first section. Unfortunately, I just didn't have... It's kind of RNG where all these units go, but I just didn't have all of my units in the Hyperion attacking things as much as possible, so 112 isn't great. Yeah, second section. So best way to do this is you want to go for this first space here, and you want to make sure they target, then you jump, go around like this, jump again. You don't need all these minerals here, it's just you need enough, sort of 750 to 800 should be good enough. Obviously a couple more is better. Want to use the fighters there, and this is quite tricky. You can die to this if you don't do this properly. Yeah, you can go down there. Try and pay attention to what exactly I did in that bit. So here, ideally, if you want to go further down so these those bombers don't target you immediately, that's ideal, because then you can jump past them. But actually, I use the fighters to block those mines, if you saw. So we go to the second area. Obviously, we're already level 2. We're going for the 3rd level upgrade. Pay attention to this dialogue. I don't know if... But essentially, when Matt says that line, that is when your camera will automatically be put onto the starport. It's quite annoying. Just make sure you don't get messed up by that. And again, what was it? We used a... There's a lot going on here to explain. Essentially, slow this down. This is quite tricky. Even with the second level up that Bloody doesn't even go for, it's quite tricky to get past that section. Just slow down, pay attention to what I do for this last 30 seconds. And you can see we get the heal up. That refreshes all of our fighters. And something else that you might want to keep in mind is that when you jump, you lose aggro of this main base, and they'll attack your fighters instead. So that can be quite useful. Ends up being slightly mediocre, 349. Obviously, with a bad first section, that isn't that bad, but yeah. But yeah, still, I'm fairly happy with how that went. And yeah, you can get consistent sub 4-minute times if you go for that strategy. Definitely don't be going for that crazy 1 level up strategy that Bloody goes for. I don't even know how he does that. I can't even get that to work in like just a level run. But yeah, so now we're going to be going for a lot of upgrades. Conviction, so we're going to be switching out the Baning upgrade. We're going to go for aerial effect mutation instead of the extra damage mutation. We're going for extra damage on the roaches and the Hydralisk, which that isn't so important, but you may as well do it. And then Kerrigan is obviously, she's still going to be having leap, dash and banelings, but obviously the AoE banelings. And this is another mission that Blade's improved on significantly, but I still go for the strategies that I go for. Typically they're very similar to what he does in his full run. And you can sort of see we want to make sure those Hellbats don't target Kerrigan ideally. So you want to send our units straight in the middle of that area. Obviously aberrations walk over units, so if you get them on top of them, then Kerrigan won't be aggroed essentially. And that's quite dangerous. You want to try and make sure, and I mess up there by having the Banelings in front. Too many Banes go down. But you want to make sure Kerrigan gets out of this first section quite healthy, because that Thor does a lot of damage, of course. That is just generally sort of how I do it. So we're losing like 5-6 seconds into that first section. Basically, actually went wrong there. Oh yeah, it was the Baning. Sorry, I just mentioned it. I didn't have as many Banings as I should have, so the bunker went down a bit slower. But yeah, so new Zerglings come out. This whole section here is just time defense. There's no way of speeding up except for the last attack wave here. That's what we get the banelings for.
She's breaking into maximum security.
So
Stop
yeah.
her now.
Oh, God, sorry, give me a second to breathe. So much to talk about in these missions. It really is difficult to talk about all the things that I want to talk about, because there are so many like, little details. I really have to like slow the gameplay down and actually talk about each detail properly to sit and tell you what I'm doing in each moment. But I can't really do that. So hopefully this commentary is at least a little bit helpful. Maybe it's informative. I don't know if anyone will use this to improve runs, but I know people use my Wings of Liberty game, commentary to actually help them improve on that. So, and yeah, that was another level upgrade there that Probe and Grant didn't go for, and I have no idea why, because it loses like 5 seconds at most. So I don't know what they were doing there. But that's something else that they went for. And that whole section is quite tricky. You want to make sure Kerrigan walks past the trigger there to activate this. But something that you want to make sure is that she doesn't target anything, because the enemy units will run at her in that section. That makes things a lot worse. Yeah, this final clear here again, I've got a nice sort of setup. We're going to be doing our first major bug of the game. Rewind that and just check out what I did if you need to. I jumped right when the cutscene right when it faded to black, and that essentially had Kerrigan in the air while this second area was loading, and that essentially kept her. I think what it does is it keeps her in the same area, but now she's out of bounds, and that allows us to basically run straight to this final section here. That's like the only real bug of the game that we do there, except for I guess jumping through these doors as well. This mission's kind of broken. I mean, you can see we've obviously created more banelings, and that jump there is actually really difficult as well. That's why I used the aberration to sort of tank fire there. 445 again. If we had a good beginning section, that might have been a PV. Most of that level was really good for me.
You have unselected your
Yeah, good time.
new abilities are now
So yeah, ability
available
efficiency.
for
We're at level
selection.
50 here, and I'm obviously going to Infested. That is at this point we no longer care about Kerrigan levels, so you'll see we're just gonna we pick up a couple just naturally, but we don't need them anymore. And is this where I make the mistake? I think I do, yeah. I'm supposed to switch up my banelings here. I'm supposed to switch them back to attack damage banelings. I don't do that, and you're going to see how they almost kills me. I lose probably less than 10 seconds, but it does really mess me up here. So again, this first section, I've got a nice little strategy for what I do here. So you want to make sure you get the infested structure there. We're going straight down. I've got 2 infesteds on a hotkey each. And we're taking control of the Banshee, the Marauder goes up there. So the Infestors, they use the energy, consume. Bloody does it slightly differently. He gets the, what is it, what are they called? The Terran vehicles, he gets them first. And then he gets the Marines, but I do it slightly differently because it's safer. Either way, you want to, Diamondbacks. You want to make sure you get the Diamondbacks, especially because they do a lot of damage. That's all you need to make sure you do. And obviously make sure you infest the structures quickly. And yeah, that ended up being a really strong beginning actually. Yeah, 119 fade, that's pretty good for me. We're making sure our Banshee's on a hotkey before that fades. And this is the sort of route. Make sure, pay attention to where I put the Banshee there, that's quite important. Whereabouts it goes. So making sure we take out those turrets. I jump below the turret there while making sure I get the splash damage off. Banshee's still healthy, which is nice. So jump, auto attack, dash, kills the turret. I dash once, so I know the Marauder won't be able to slow me again. Jump, dash to kill the... bloody go straight for the objective, but I dash to the side, it's safer. One baneling and a jump should be able to kill that. If you have the damage banelings, I'm like really confused as to why that didn't work, and I'm like, wait, did the banelings die? Yeah, I put a question like that. Wait, what happened there? Did the banelings die? What happened? And I realised like after this mission at some point that oh wait, my banelings were not set on the right mutation. So yeah, unfortunately, even in my world record, sorry, my ideal runtime, I'm still messing up on these mutations and Kerrigan things. And for something I do here that's stupid is I switch the main, because I'm thinking at this point, and this is where I realised that I messed it up. So I was thinking at that point, I know I'm supposed to switch the banings about now, right? So I switched them over, but I've just switched them to the wrong one. So they were already on the right one for the mission coming up. I think, is it this mission? Yeah, no, it's a mission after this mission. They were already in the right one for that, but now I've switched them back to the wrong one because I had them wrong on Infested, if that makes sense. So that's going to mess me up slightly on the other mission as well. But yeah, anyway, Hand of Darkness, one of the most difficult missions in this campaign. Really tricky. And I've actually came up with my own sort of version of this strategy. I don't go for it as fast as Bloody. Pay attention there to where I move the roaches. The roaches are a big deal in this mission. The burrows roaches, that's what we have to switch to. Yeah, pay attention to what I'm doing with all these roaches here. Essentially, the hybrid, they like tracing burrowed roaches a lot for some reason, and the roaches are also slow enough while burrowed to pull, so the hybrid can keep up with them. And obviously the roaches have massive healing when they're burrowed, so they're just the perfect unit to take all these hybrid away with. So we're sending those hybrid into the base. We're just essentially moving the Kerrigan as fast as possible around the map. While obviously using these roaches to get all the hybrid into the Terran units. The hybrid are particularly vulnerable to Terran bunkers, and obviously we use what is that Brutalisk up there to take out one of the hybrids. Sorry. Most worrying hybrid to kill is the bottom right one that we're going for now with the new roaches that we've built. There is a specific sort of location that I click so that it keeps most of the roaches alive. And the Queen is coming up to kill her final hybrid here. Trying to use the Terran obviously to help get it down. I'd be paying more attention to those roaches in the bottom, because that Kerrigan's not going to lose the hybrid fight, but these roaches can easily die. So I sort of head up with the roaches to pull these Terran units. You kind of want to make sure that the hybrid doesn't aggro the Thor ideally, because that is the main damage dealer. Everything's dead now, it's just this guy. And yeah, that ends up being a 259, a really solid one. I finally got a good Hand of Darkness in a full run, even sub 3, which I wasn't even aiming for. Obviously a combination of just nice RNG and some pretty decent execution there. I've been practicing that mission a lot because it's just a really tricky one. Bloody would also, he'd have an aberration going down to the bottom, to the middle right hybrid, and that he'd be using Terran forces to attack that, and then the final hybrid that Kerrigan goes for is the one that he'd go for first after releasing the Brutalisk, if that makes sense. But yeah, he gets like ideally like a 220 time, which is just ridiculous. But I think my strategy is good. It saves again like a good like minute and a half, nearly 2 minutes on probe. A lot of that, some of that is execution, a decent amount is execution, but a lot of it is a better strategy as well. And this is the mission. This is the start of the mission that I'm slightly messed up on. Again, because I don't have the Baning upgrade here, which means this is slightly slow. Either way, something about this, the start of this mission, you always get a 29 second, or you get a 26 or a 23 second fade. It's a set time for some reason. I'm not too sure why. Obviously, if you do it faster, you get the faster time. I think Bloody gets a 23 second. But either way, it's in intervals. It's not when you kill the final building. But either way, yeah, I was probably going to get a 29 second either way. That's why it doesn't really matter. But I can occasionally get the 26 second. But I wouldn't be able to do that with the wrong banings. But yeah, that's basically the end of banings for this run, so we don't have to worry about messing that up anymore. And yeah, this mission. Essentially, you have Starcraft running to the objectives as quickly as possible. There's 5 objectives. They take a minute each to disable. And this mission, there's still probably something to figure out for me, because I go for Zerglings, which is what Bloody goes for. That's how I've learned it. I go for a few Queens, which is kind of important to keep your Ultra Discs alive. They're a big deal. Sorry, I'm probably getting a bit sore talking this much for this long. But yeah, so then you basically just spam Zerglings with a second hatchery coming up soon. And obviously we have a bunch of drones up at the start as well. because the mission is fairly long, so you do get time to drone up. But yeah, I mean, I've seen Probe, and I'm assuming Grant goes for the just a couple of extra Ultralists and a couple of Queens, and that just might be just as good, maybe even better, because I feel like you just have a harder time losing with that setup over Zerglings at this point. But I honestly, I've just liked the mission as Zerglings because that's what Bloody goes for. But we both, me and Probe, produce a very similar time in this mission, so it might be easier for you if you went Ultralist, if you were trying to run this. But yeah, so again, we're spreading creep as well. That's quite important. I don't know if I do too well of it for this run, unfortunately, but it does. Bloody gets creep up so quickly that he actually has creep up for Stukov most of the run, and that obviously saves him time. This third section here is the most difficult base to clear easily because of these Colossi. So obviously, ideally we'd be running Stukov straight to the objective, but there's no easy way to do this. You're going to have to be using Stukov to take out these Colossi realistically, and unless you're Bloody, when he can basically just run straight in there. Yeah, so a bit slow on this creep spread here. Not going to be able to make too much use out of it. But we do have Malignant Creep, of course, I haven't mentioned that yet. That increases our attack speed and creep, so we're looking fairly decent here. We've got 3 Queens, remember to build all the Queens. Decent amount of Zerglings, we got our Ultralists there, they're alive, which is the important thing. Obviously we're kiting back so we make sure that Stukov can still use his abilities. Constantly building more Zerglings. Obviously it's quite difficult to get the Zerglings and making sure we're staying on top of Overlords and that. If you're a good Starcraft player, I imagine it's not actually that difficult, but I'm not that good, so yeah, again, a bit slow on this creep. Ideally we'd have some of it to speed it up just a little bit here. At this point you can basically just run Stukov to the objectives. We should have enough, and these bases aren't that hard to clear. Again, I'm looking for like a sort of, and I messed this up a little bit by having Stukov just sort of stand there. Ideally I have at best like a just under an 8-minute time on this mission, but around 8 minutes is what I'm going for here. Fairly slow. I think it's like 40 seconds slower to Bloody, but I'm not going to be able to keep up with Bloody either way, so not a bad mission. Either way, so this section here, essentially these hybrid come in, and this hybrid here that you're looking at, he can sometimes get caught up on Zerglings and creep, and he won't even come in, which can be obviously useful, but sometimes it's just generally easy to take him out, because he can mess you up later potentially. But either way, so we're getting, obviously we have Zergling reconstitution here. I know we changed that out at some point. I think we changed it out at some point. But you want to make sure you have that here, because obviously it's a very big deal, these Zerglings rushing. And obviously, so Protoss come in first. This is always how it works on these attack waves. Protoss come in first. You want to make sure you take out the Protoss before the hybrid come in. That just makes sense. It's especially important on this wave here, because the Colossi do a lot of damage. I'm even putting the drones here, and you don't need to win this fight. What you can do, I'm considering going for the bonus objectives. Sometimes you'll have enough units to do it, just for like an extra little Kerrigan health for later on, but it's not a big deal if you don't. Either way, we're essentially just kiting these final hybrid long enough so that Stukov can win the game, and there it is. Actually kind of close there, honestly. But yeah, obviously I think maybe if you went Ultras, you could probably be able to take them out regardless. But yeah, it's a slightly slow mission, but overall I'm fine with it. It's just kind of tricky. That's one that I'd still probably need to figure out a little bit more if I were to keep running. But as for the overall quality of this game, of this sort of run, I'd say that my times are very similar. It's very similar compared to the skill level of sort of my Wings of Liberty run. I'd say probably Wings of Liberty is slightly better, slightly more refined. But you have to keep in mind that Heart of the Swarm is a lot fairly more amount more difficult than the Wings of Liberty run. It is quite tricky, obviously, with all the Zerglings that you have to control. And, there's just a bit more randomness and more things that you have to focus on compared to the Terran campaign, which is generally just, you know, you have Marines, or you have your set the units that you start with, and that's it. There's a lot more in building Zerglings and things here. It's just generally a lot more difficult, which is why there's a bigger gap between this run and Bloody's time than there is with Wings of Liberty. It's just a skill difference. We're going to... This is a defense mission, by the way. I'm kind of rambling off. Another defense mission is 21 minutes, or obviously after translated time it's about 15, 16. But yeah, sorry. Again, I'll mention for this run we're playing on faster speed. That's the rules. You play on Starcraft faster speed, which means the time. So every in-game second is only like set 0.7225 of a real second. And once you translate the in-game time, you have to times it by 0.725 in order to get the actual time. So I guess every in-game second is slightly less valuable than an actual second. If that makes sense for this run, for these runs. And again, I haven't even mentioned this game is based off of in-game time. It's not based off of RTA. It's the same for Wings of Liberty, but it's actually different for Legacy of the Void. Which is the Legacy of the Void, because of the bugs that you can do with the what is it, the Spear of Doom. Essentially, it's being decided that you're timed RTA, so everything counts, because although the Spear of Doom bugs don't take in-game time, they're still technically part of the gameplay. So that's what the decision. So yeah, once I get to Legacy of the Void, I'll have to actually get good at menuing, because evidently I'm not very good at it here. I probably lost several minutes on Bloody, regardless of messing things up, which obviously I did once. Fortunately, I'm finally not resetting any levels, but I did mess that up. Anyway, yeah, that's sort of a ramble about these games over. I think again I am going to skip. I think I do need a drink as well, because my throat is getting quite sore. I am going to skip ahead to the final two missions, which are both Kerrigan rushes. Obviously, we've had quite a few of those already. Both Kerrigan rushes, both fairly tricky. The final one more so than the second to last. But yeah, we'll skip ahead to those. In fact, I may come back to sort of a minute or so before the end of this mission, because I want to sort of wrap up before I do the final two mission commentary. I actually completely forgot that I was doing a commentary for this mission, and I didn't leave myself enough time to talk at the end of the last mission in the recording. So I'm gonna do the wrap up at the end of this mission in about 15 minutes when I come back, and then we're gonna go into the last two missions and the video is gonna end. So that's how it's gonna work. So yeah, I'll be back in sort of around 20 minutes, 19-20 minutes of this run. If you're interested in the commentary, and you can skip ahead. So I'll see you then.
Is breaking through Core Hall's defenses.
We require more minerals. Spawn more. We require more minerals.
Retribution.
These gates lead to the Terran capital. Destroy them, and my brood can enter Augustgrad.
Good thinking. I'll break the gates open if I have time.
Spawn more overlord.
Makes our conquest continues. No time.
We require more minerals. Mutation.
Make your peace. Our conquest continues.
We require more minerals.
I am
Not enough energy. We require more minerals. We must place that on creep.
speak.
We require more minerals.
A bio-launcher is about to arrive on Core Hall's surface.
No time.
Mutation complete. We require more minerals.
Speak. The swarm conquers all. Yes.
Our forces are under attack.
The swarm has met the enemy. Mengsk will suffer. No time like the present.
A bio-launcher is landing here, my queen.
Sons of Core Hall, eliminate the Queen of Blades.
Yes. Our conquest continues.
Not enough energy.
Boldly. Redact. Make your peace. No time.
Not enough energy.
Your queen listens. Retribution.
Unacceptable command. Unacceptable command. We must place that on creep. The hive cluster is under attack. Are under attack.
Yes. Retribution.
Mutation.
I am the swarm.
Not enough energy. Not enough energy.
Makes you suffer. No time.
Unacceptable command.
This world is mine.
Unacceptable command.
Make you.
The next bio-launcher is making landfall. Prepare for its defense.
Speak. It is time.
Our forces are under attack. Unacceptable command. Mineral. Our forces are under attack.
Make school. No time like the present. Speak.
A bio launcher will make landfall here momentarily.
Warm.
Our forces are under attack. Unacceptable command.
Make your yes. Our conquest continues.
Unacceptable command.
Speak. It is time. Yes. What is it this time? Your queen.
Mineral field depleted. Mineral field depleted. Mineral field
Night Wolves,
depleted.
you have your orders. Remove the Zerg threat.
We are without. It is time. Make your peace.
Our forces are under attack.
Retribution. No time.
Our forces are under attack.
What is it this time? Speak.
The final bio launcher is about to arrive. Prepare for its defense.
Okay, so we're back here.
The swarm conquers.
Yeah, as I said, this is a defense mission. Just gotta make sure you wipe out this base, the top right. You can ignore the bonus effects, they don't actually do anything. Just make sure the base at the top right is destroyed, and obviously keep the bio launchers protected. Rufus has a problem with doing this apparently, but it's not very difficult generally.
It is time.
But yeah, either way. As I said, I was going to wrap the video up here because the last two missions obviously are very quick. There's not a lot to talk about, and I don't have a lot of footage left at the end of mission, at the end of the final mission to actually talk. So yeah, thank you for watching. Obviously, I appreciate everyone watching. I hope this video was at least a little bit helpful. I know the commentary isn't very good. It's kind of scuffed, and I obviously can't talk about everything without having like a serious breakdown, pausing and everything. And obviously I can't be doing pausing and things in what is essentially a full game run. Obviously I'll be uploading this video to speedrun.com, and I don't want the gameplay to be interrupted in any way because that would invalidate the run. So yeah.
We adapt.
I'm just hoping that everything went all right in the edited process. So yeah, thank you for watching. And these last two missions, you're about to see, I do mess them up slightly because I'm very nervous at this point. I do quite things wrong. They don't go amazingly, they're not worst things ever, and 21:28 should be the time there, yeah. I think I've already got the loadout set. I think I double checked just to be absolutely sure. So we want heal, we want the dash, we want kinetic blasts, and ability efficiency, the only things we need there. That's something to keep in mind actually in the other missions as well. I do have a couple of missions where I go for a different loadout than Bloody, you know, with the Kerrigan. Specifically Hand of Darkness, I go for heal instead of Banes. It's definitely is, I think, the smarter option. It's a lot safer. So yeah, just keep in mind of what the upgrades I'm going for. That's a big help when you're learning this run. And this level, so you don't want Harker to lose 4 bars of health, which is why you heal at a very specific time there. Otherwise he'll get a dialogue where he needs to mend himself dialogue. That loses some time there. I don't want to be attacking the bunker there. It's a bit sad, but you can see we use Kerrigan. We use the Zerglings to block some of the Marauder shots there for Kerrigan. We snipe that science vessel there. That's a big deal as well. So I'm just sort of waiting for the extra heal, playing a little bit safe here. So after we burrow, the science vessel will be pulled towards us. We unburrow, kill it with Kinetic Blast. And I make a mistake here of I burrow in the wrong place, so I get slowed by Marauders and take a bit of extra damage that I don't want to take. This is quite risky here. So essentially all we're doing here is burrowing, unburrowing, sniping, healing, and then burrowing again. We do this 5 times to kill this objective. And unfortunately it's very difficult to do this on this mission in particular, because the enemies tend to do more damage than you can actually heal. So you've got to be very... you got to do this very quickly, essentially. Again, we lose a couple of seconds to those Marauders there, but overall we do manage to take this down. I think it's 2 minutes 2 seconds, that's completely fine. And yeah, onto the final mission, which is really where you can see my nerves starting to come out a bit. Now, this final mission, if you want to copy the probe sort of grant strategy of literally you go to the enemy base, the route is fairly simple, it's not too difficult to mess up. You go to the enemy base, you burrow, you take out obviously the turret that's revealing you, you burrow, you snipe, you burrow, and you do that 10 times in a row, and you kill the base, you kill the enemy objective in about 2.5 minutes. Yeah, this run must be pretty crazy from someone who's never seen a speedrun in this game before, which I'm sure there are definitely people watching who wouldn't have. But yeah, this has been a strategy for a while. But Bloody actually improves this. Thing is, you can actually auto attack the objective of Kerrigan as well throughout most of the duration, which saves quite a bit of time. Obviously, it saves overall it saves maybe close to 40 seconds, maybe 35 seconds compared to efficient kinetic blasting. And unfortunately, we make a mistake here as we don't burrow Kerrigan fast enough. We also attack the tank, and that pulls the Odin, which is going to lose me some time there. You can see I've already taken the turret, and this is so you want to be right in that corner in order to auto attack this palace. And the way you want to keep doing this is you want to make sure you attack. You press A, so you attack move, and right click on. Oh, sorry, click on the objective immediately after you kinetic blast, so that Kerrigan doesn't attack something else. If she tries to attack something else, she'll probably get out of the spot. It's quite difficult to get back in. And you can see I'm just messing up, sort of running Kerrigan around. I almost don't burrow there and just lose the entire game, you know. The pods from the enemy marines are all RNG, so that's kind of a big deal on what time you can save here. Again, I think that's a 2:14, which is kind of mediocre, but it's still better than your probe. So that's fine. My hand was shaking in that run, but yeah, that's the game. As I said, I don't have a lot of time here, so thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Nice 1:45 time there. So yeah. I probably won't be doing Legacy of the Void for a while, but, you know, we'll see.